Today we're going to make a beautiful Sicilian orange cake, and it's a breakfast cake and something that Italians tend to eat with a cappuccino in the morning. And the cake that we're making today is quite a large cake, and it will feed a family for a few days. So we're going to start by putting some butter in. You can do a stand mixer, but also use a hand mixer if you want. And we're going to add some caster sugar to that, and a little bit of vanilla. And we're going to slowly mix that in the stand mixer. We'll cream this until it's light and fluffy. It's always good to scrape the bowl from time to time, just to make sure all the elements are combined well. I do like my old-fashioned Kenwood mixer. I know some of you have got the big ones, beautiful brand new ones, but this stand mixer has lasted for a good 25 years. And just one more scrape of the bowl, and you can see that it's really starting to lighten up now with the butter and the sugar. And give this the love that it deserves at the start. I always find with recipes, if you get the start right, then the rest of it follows quite well. All right. So we're good to go with the base. Some people ask me if they can add olive oil to this mixture, but this is actually quite a sturdy cake. So yes, you could do an olive oil cake, but this one actually requires the butter. It's quite a sturdy cake, so we wanted to make sure that it lasts a few days. Now what we're going to do is prepare two things here. We're going to start with the dry ingredients and also prepare the wet ingredients, which we'll then incorporate in thirds. So here we've got some flour. We're going to add a pinch of salt and some baking powder. And we're also going to add some orange rind. And we'll just mix that together really well. Of course, you could use lemon rind at this stage, or any citrus that you've got in season. I quite like oranges in this one because it does remind me of Sicily, but you know, lemons are just as nice. So that's the dry, and then we've got some eggs in here. So we've got 3 eggs, and I'll crack one more. So we've got 4 eggs in the mix, and we're going to add that in. And then here I've got the juice of 2 oranges and some full cream milk, which I'll add together and combine. So we've got 3 components ready, and what I'm going to do first is add 1 egg at a time to the sugar and butter mixture, and we're going to cream that together until it's nice and light. To scrape the bowl at this stage and give it one last mix. Now it can look a little bit curdled at this point, but don't worry, because once we add the flour, it'll all resolve. So we've got the dry and the milk ingredients here. We're going to add them a little bit at a time, and then it'll all just come together. So a little bit of the flour and some milk, and we'll bring that all together. Start slowly because the flour can go into your face if you move too fast. Mix that together and quickly add a bit more flour, a bit more milk. that one scrape, one good scrape, and then one last mix, and then we're good to go. I have found sometimes on a really hot day that we just need to add a little bit more flour to the mixture. So go ahead and do that, but don't add too much. And that's it. All right. So here we go. It's quite a big batter. This is certainly not a cake for a loaf tin. I would recommend that you use, quite a large tin here. I've got a 23 centimetre round tin that we've put some baking paper on the bottom and obviously greased around the sides. And what we do here is we just pour the batter into the tin. Just give it a little bit of a mix. So we're going to pop this cake in a 180 degrees fan forced oven for about 40 to 45 minutes, but obviously keep checking as you go along. And we'll do that shortly. And this is actually what the cake looks like. So it's quite a large rustic cake, and we don't really add anything to this because it's a breakfast cake. So you would keep that stored in a pantry for a few days and take a slice at a time. However, you could zhuzh it up and you could pour some syrup over this, some beautiful orange syrup, and turn it into a lovely dessert, or have it as an afternoon tea with some, cream on the side, some fresh raspberries. So you can zhuzh this cake up and not just have it for breakfast. But I will tell you that it's an absolutely delicious cake that Italians love to eat for breakfast. And you may wonder, well, they're having sweets for breakfast. But that's what Italians do. They have a cappuccino with something sweet. They call it that cornetto. And then they get on with their day. And I think it's a perfect start to an Italian morning. So I hope you enjoy this Sicilian orange cake.